There's oil all over the ground.
Alright, so last time we were working on the dozer, we finally got the tracks on. Now we got to get the engine running. So, if you haven't seen some of the older videos, we rebuilt the whole engine on this. Pretty much had everything taken apart, but the engine hasn't run since it's been put back together. We also don't have oil in the engine. Tom may have filled up the oil pan, but we want to fill all the galleries. So we're going to hook up this pump and pump oil right through here. This hooks up to the oil line in the block right there. My dad's already got this most of the way rigged up. And we're going to get that pump hooked up, and we're going to pump oil through the whole engine so that there's oil everywhere before we start it. Pretty much the engine should run. Everything's done on the engine and buttoned up to the point where we probably could run it as soon as we get the oil in it. But we do have some other odds and ends that we have to get done. Like, we got to hook up the drive shaft, because the whole point of starting the engine is to drive the thing around to help loosen up the tracks. So we got to get the drive shaft in. We got to get some linkages hooked up in here. Get all the tin work put back down in here so we can sit here and operate it. Got to do something about the seat. I don't know. Probably just put a board in there for temporary. We got to get the batteries hooked up, or a battery hooked up, so that we can crank it over. Right now the electrical's all disconnected, even to the starter, so I got to get that sorted out and hooked up. Yeah, we just got to make sure all the linkages are good. And I think that's it. The battery boxes are a little bit smashed up here. The tractor that that we're set up on here, the track frames and tracks and everything are from a different tractor, but this tractor was picked up a few times with chains after the tracks and stuff were off it, and they just wrapped the chains straight up here, so they crushed in these boxes. When they loaded it for us, they wrapped the chains from here, and at first we had enough clearance that we weren't touching the fuel tank, but the guy's excavator really couldn't even pick the thing up, so he had to choke the chains up real high, and then we got the chains into the fuel tank and we dented it up. But it was already dented before that, so it's not like we wrecked a pristine fuel tank, but these dents up here were not there before that. But it's fine, it still holds fuel. Just doesn't look as pretty anymore. But we might have to do a little bit of bending on these battery boxes just to get a battery down in it, because the top's kind of folded in. Alright, here's a drive shaft. It's very short and stubby. I'm just gonna pump it full of grease before I put it on, so that I have good access to the grease zerks. Hopefully this is pumping grease. This one does not feel like it's taking grease. Alright, I got this one. I took this one apart. This is from the other drive shaft. We have two. One's from one machine, one's from the other. The bearings are in here. All the needles are caked with hard grease, at least on the two caps I took off. These are all wired together. Well, the pairs are wired together. This one's still welded. This one broke, so I took it apart. This one's still wired together. This one broke. But this is the one that's not taking grease, so I'm just going to pop that zerk off and make sure that the zerk's free. I think all the bearings on this are in better shape than the other drive shaft, so I think this is the one to use. I just need to make sure that the zerk actually accepts grease. Alright. Pop it on there. Alright, let's see what happens here. Oh yeah, it takes grease, no problem. Alright. So the zerk's not the problem. Let's see if this... Okay, that's not the problem either. It's actually nice and... everything in here is nice and squishy. That's good. That means there's no hard grease in here. And everything moves here nice and easy, and it's not like crunchy. Everything moves good. So that leads me to believe that the reason that I can't pump grease in here is probably because it's full. I'm just going to put the greaser back in, try to pump it one more time, see what happens, and then install it. And this actually is not very hard to change if we ever needed to. But we probably will never need to because this drive shaft basically doesn't move at all. So it's not like these things are going to be going, you know, like that a lot. It's definitely taken some grease this time. Alright, that's ready to go back on. But before we do that, here's a quick update on our oil pumping. The pump is hooked up and it's on. We're not entirely sure if it's going in, but we think it is.
If I open the bypass, it fills this tube. See, it's moving.
Okay. So it seems like it's working. So we're just going to let it run a while and we'll check back in on it later. Alright, back to the drive shaft.
They were sitting here.
So the bottles. Yeah.
Is this a neutral?
Okay, hold on.
Can you get it in neutral? Can I jiggle this? Or is it not lined up right? Alright, you're looking from way up top now. For some reason this thing won't come out of whatever gear this is. Probably first gear, I think that is. That's probably first. It's in gear, and while it's in gear, if I try to rotate the drive shaft, I can rotate it, but then it springs back. So if I pull both, these are the steering clutches here. If I pull both steering clutches, I can pull those, hold them pulled, and then I can rotate the drive shaft. And this is real fun to do when you're one person. I had my dad help me last time I did this. But I can hold them, and my head's probably in the middle of the shot, but oh, I can't rotate it.
Open this door. Huh?
You know why I can't rotate it?
Gear?
No, because I hooked it up to the engine. I put in 2 bolts in the engine here, so those other bolts I'm going to have to reach around to get in. I was going to rotate it to make it easy for me to get to them. Yeah, if I hook up the clutch, then I can pull the clutch. Alright, let me hook up the clutch fast, and then we can pull the clutch and leave it on, you know, we can leave the clutch unhooked. And then I'll be able to rotate this. Here's a quick update on the oil. Alright, the pump's getting a little warm, but we pumped about half of this, so that's about a gallon. Pumped about a gallon of oil into the engine through the galleys, so it's doing something.
I wonder if it's pumping up, filling up the filter.
May have. This clutch brake, I assume the washer goes to the outside. Oops. Oh, that's upside down, I think. Leave that close like that.
You don't want that jug, right? I can cut it.
Yeah, you can cut it.
I'll cut the top off and then put the pump right in the oil.
Using diagonal pliers to bend a cotter pin. This Tom doesn't have any regular pliers. Oh, you know what? I have regular pliers. Forgot I got my 11 in. That'll work. Okay. Alright, I had to take that back off because there's a pin. There's a pin right there, right here, that has to go into a hole in the engine. And I did not put it in that hole, so that was not going to work.
You got any pop here? Right.
There we go. All right, I'm gonna hook that bottom pin up. I'm gonna hook that bottom pin up off camera. So I got the pins in here, everything. I got this all adjusted how it's supposed to be. Now, the weight also, we figured out why it wouldn't come out of gear. We couldn't get the thing to come out of gear before, right? The reason was we had the clutch in this position, and when the clutch is there, that's engaged in the engine. It wasn't hooked up to the engine, so the engine was just wherever it was. We didn't have the lever hooked up, but it was hooked up to here. And this is a lockout for the transmission. And when you have it in gear, or sorry, when you have the clutch engaged, you cannot shift. So you can't shift in gear, you can't put it into a gear, and you can't pull it out of a gear. You just can't shift at all when the clutch is in this position. But if you push the clutch forward, that's clutch disengaged. Now you can shift. So that was that problem, which wasn't even a problem. It's just me being dumb. I also got this all adjusted, so right now we are in neutral and the clutch is disengaged, and I can rotate this, but we have this brake here, so this brake is kind of loose right now, but if I push the clutch forward like that, there's an adjustment in here. So you see when I push forward, it compresses that spring a little bit. And that spring compression is all you need to put a little bit of pressure on that brake, and that's what stops your drive shaft from spinning. Alright, so everything down here is all done and hooked up, except I gotta finish putting the bolts in the drive shaft. Putting never sees on all these, because it would really suck to break these off. I don't know if I can put a ratchet on that. Nope. Wrench it is. Alright, I got them all started. I'm just going to tighten them up real quick. Alright, drive shaft's done. Alright, well, the generator was locked up, so Tom got it free, sort of. It's still very growly. But we're going to run it like that. We're not expecting it to make any voltage. We just need a pulley where that's supposed to be. This is actually the belt tensioner too, so we need it. We can't run without it. So we need to put it on the machine. So Tom got that freed up. We got oil pumping. We put a bunch in there already. The pump's actually down in the oil now because it was getting hot. So we cut the top off of that and put it down in there. And basically we've just been pumping it all through here to get it into the engine. So that way, you know, all the proper oil galleries are filled up and everything. Alright, Tom's gonna tighten up the whatever on this side. I don't know what he's doing.
First I gotta loosen off, I think I've shown this before. I was showing it halfway. I gotta loosen off the bearing, the big castle nut here. That gets loosened off 2 full rotations.
Did you tighten this while this was engaged?
No, this is what I'm doing right now. Is you only tighten this when this is loose.
Okay, you didn't tighten that yet.
No. Well, I don't know. I think I tightened it before and then tighten these. That's how you do it.
You sat there and spun this nut a whole bunch before you realized that this wasn't on there. You didn't have the track frame on there.
Yeah.
You spun this a whole bunch, and I don't know if you spun it back.
Well, I always just tightened it there. I always did it right. I figured it out after the fact.
Right.
But you take this and you loosen off 2 full rotations. Which is a long time. Access.
There's a guy on one of the videos that said that you gotta make sure that that's backed off because you had tightened it.
Yeah.
And then you did stuff later. He said you gotta make sure that's backed off when you tighten this, or this won't tighten onto the taper, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, this gets tightened against this nut, so if you don't have that, you know, if you don't have this all the way in and seated already, and you go to do, then you're fighting this to get this on.
Right.
Yeah. This comes off a whole bunch. And this is moving. Ooh, you know what? We're also fighting the track right now. But either way, it's gotta.
So we probably should have did this before we put the tracks on.
Yeah.
Would have been better.
The other side's already done.
Yeah.
Start with 3 shims, see where we get. Now we have a 1/16 of an inch gap between this plate and this face. Now that's tightened up there. Looking underneath. Here, that looks pretty good. I've shown this on camera before. I didn't give you the footage then. Basically, we just floated. Is this on?
It's on.
This thing got floated this way with the whole track frame and the arm that goes underneath. The arm underneath there. It's got a gap on the left and on the right, and now it's pretty even under there. You can see. That was floated hard to the left before, so now it's even on either side. So that's about the right amount of shims we're going to put in there. We can torque it down and load the bearing back up. Hopefully everything seats properly because now we're under track tension. So we'll see how all that goes. paranoid right now.
Did you have to shim this?
Yeah, I put 3 shims in there.
Okay.
The other side, I think I got 1 shim in. It's already pretty good. I'm happy with it. Now, we gotta see if we can get the lock in there.
That's just a keeper. It's got a few pins on it, and you just line it up until the pins go in a couple holes, and then it sits on the face of the nut so the nut can't back off. This is as tight as I can get it with this thing. That's probably tight enough, right?
I think, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was the one that put that cover on and I didn't tighten it down all the way. I'm pretty sure you said you didn't want me to, so that you remembered to go tighten the fold over lock.
Well,
which at this point, the engine was sitting here next to the tractor, not in it.
But it did remind us to do the fold over lock.
Yeah, but it would have been a lot easier to do before we put it in the tractor. Unfortunately, Tom got ahead of me, and I missed filming a little bit of what he did here. But we'll just explain it to you now. So what did you tighten up here? This castellated nut?
Yeah.
On the backside?
The nut gets turned counterclockwise. It looks like you're loosening it. You're actually,
okay.
Jim bearings together. And
so Tom put the bolts in this plate. You saw Tom put the plate on. He put the bolts in and tightened it up. Then he tightened up that nut with a breaker, this bar here, and a huge pipe. It says use a 6-foot extension in the book. So this is tight, and that's good to go. And he's already done the other side. So that stuff's all good. You do have to put the cap on here, though. It's gonna do that. We gotta change that grease zerk still.
The book just says use a 6-foot extension. It doesn't say to tighten. It might be like any wheel bearing where you tighten it and you're supposed to back off a little bit. Well, that doesn't make any sense because
the tank is buttoned up. Yeah, you can fill it with hydraulic fluid. Everywhere I go, I get glare. Got lights, the sun, whatever.
Yeah, it says tighten the adjusting nut 6, which is the big nut.
And it doesn't say back
by turning it counterclockwise direction with a spanner wrench, use a 5-foot extension, not a 6-foot. 5-foot extension. Make certain proper preloads applied to the final drive bearings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's it. All right. Well, we've made a bunch of progress on stuff on getting the motor ready to run. And here we hooked up the starter. I hooked up these power leads. I don't know that these actually matter unless one of these sends power to the starter. I'm not sure there. Some of them hook up. Some of those wires go to over here, which is for the generator. We're not hooking those up. We're just gonna leave it like that. The generator's here just to tension the belt. Tom got the belt on, so that's good. We finished pumping oil into the engine. The engine reads full now on engine oil. We got all that stuff that we were using to pump in disconnected. We also did put in some zinc additive stuff to help with the break-in process. You saw me put the drive shaft together. That's done. Clutch adjustments are all done. We're getting pretty close to being able to start. We do need to put hydraulic fluid in it, cool. Just so we're not running the pump on dry. We need to put coolant in it. which hopefully the radiator doesn't leak because we never did anything to test that. Did you fill up this yet? The clutch housing?
No.
So 30 weights what went in the engine, and that's also what goes in the clutch housing, so we're going to have to fill this up. I think it's a 7/8. Nope, it's bigger. 1 inch. One of these has got to be it. 1 inch? Yeah, it's 1 inch. Tom, you know how much goes in here offhand?
It's probably 3 quarts worth. Then I read.
Transmission is 7 gallons.
Luckily, the transmission has fluid in it.
You checked it?
We checked it a while ago.
Well, it didn't leak out.
I mean, I don't know that it's full, but I know it's got stuff in it. I think that dipstick's right in the middle there. Isn't that a dipstick?
I think it's a start.
Put a big pliers on it. There, right?
Yep. We got to cut down that one long track pin we put in.
Can we turn this with a pipe wrench on her and bring her around to me? Come on. Could be there. Just a little more. A little more. Alright, that is.
All right.
Cut off. I mean, you can grind off more.
No, that's plenty. Let's check out what we got in the fuel tank. It's got half a tank.
Well, I think I got one of those filters.
It smells like diesel.
I would change the filter.
What?
The filter underneath. Needle cells underneath.
All right, we got this inline fuel filter. We're going to change it. And while we're changing it, we're going to see how the fuel coming out of the tank looks. I think I can shut this off here. Or maybe it might have already been off. Huh. Pretty sure that's a shut off. I don't know how this got turned like this.
Well, let's see if we leak fuel everywhere. No.
You can shut off the.
Well, I think it's already off.
So you want to stick this one in there?
No, I want to make sure the fuel's off. If it's not off, I don't think that's enough to run it. Why is this? Isn't this it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's off. Okay, I don't know why this filter is. The hose is all backwards on this.
Don't worry about that, and get the other end off.
I can't. That's why. Things are on the wrong side. I can't get the other end off. I can do this.
You want another pliers. It's coming.
Huh? Sure.
We need a bigger. These are. Or we gotta put a double up that hose or something.
Where's that plastic? Look clean.
Yeah. Good to me.
Okay.
Yeah, right. That's
Yeah, that's good. Let's see if this fits in here. Not really.
Cut the outer barb off.
Okay, that should work, I think. Alright, new fuel filter on. Fuel looks clean, so we should be good to go on fuel.
Put fuel in the filter.
Yeah, Tom pre-filled this filter with fuel from here. Now we're rigging up this Frankenstein thing here. You want to point it this way? I would think you want to point it out the door.
Yeah, ideally.
Maybe we should get the one from the other side. So we got some Dr. Pepper cans. Trying to seal up the exhaust.
a little fire.
It's still probably going to be ridiculously loud. Yeah, so this is off of, I think, is it a supercharged 3.8 or is it just a 3.8? You got to push that forward.
Just a regular 3.8. This should be disengaged.
There you go.
Neutral.
We're not going to hook up that wire, Tom. We're just going to hook right up to the starter.
Okay. This does nothing, right? This is...
Currently, we'll do nothing.
So what do you think?
We hook up batteries to the starter.
Yeah, we just got to start turning it over. And
That's it.
bleeding the
Thinking,
fuel.
get your skid steer out. And if it keeps going over the road, eventually I'll hopefully
It'll hit the house. You don't have to knock the house over.
Probably turn it out.
It'll drive over the top of that nice Chevelle there.
It'll probably turn the grade of land will take it down. Oh, there's a cat.
What? A kitty. This thing's not going to be able to see it hardly at all. It's a black cat. Black cats are good luck, right? That cat over there is not amused by your skid steer.
Yeah.
It's still watching though. We got everything off the tracks, right? Yeah. You want to put a piece of plywood down so you can sit on the thing? It's going to be hard to operate.
Yeah, pipe work.
Bigger than that. Alright, we got the intake taken off so we can put a board over that to starve the engine if we have to. Too wide.
Yeah, too wide. Needs to be 10 inches shorter than this. Push forward because of this.
Yeah, perfect seat.
Yeah.
It's just extra cushion, right? You got
Well,
your
so
back
you-
cushion and then your... Yeah, you just got to really push it back so that you can... You also got no floorboards, so that...
Probably can't actually pull this steering cushion just like this. Make sure you are on the brakes all the time. Make sure you clear the drive shaft.
Yeah, just don't put your feet down in the drive shaft and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Nope.
The drive shaft
Okay.
will only be turning when you're driving.
Right.
Alright, so what do we got for batteries?
That one, 44%. I got
Well, we got this one.
one at the deep side of the my truck.
So this came out of the tractor vehicle.
Here's our ghetto jump pack.
Oh, 24 volt.
24 volt jump pack, right? So we had to tie two batteries together. We didn't have big enough wires, so we tried two. And the other two are going to get jumper cables, which are already hooked up. We should be able to hook these up and nothing should happen, I think. Not positive, though. See if something happens. Nothing? Okay. But now it should be powered now.
Get ready to pull this off if you have to, whatever.
Huh?
I'm gonna bump it.
Did something. All right, you're gonna want to run the glow plugs probably.
Ready? Fuel open.
Do we have
Ready?
oil pressure? Battery?
Fuel?
Fuel. Right? Yeah, fuel. It's on coming out of this line.
And then close this again. See if that solved it. Try it again. Ready?
Oh, you're bubbling here, so I should tighten him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this could, once you start tightening stuff, this can fire anytime, so. Crank it. Oil pressure's coming up, but the drive shaft's also spinning.
You're good here. The drive shaft.
Spinning.
What do you mean it's spinning?
Well, this might be drag.
That's just... try pushing the brake forward when you run it and see if that'll stop it. I think we're good. You just gotta tighten up here. You just gotta tighten all these. They've all got...
pretty good now.
Yeah.
That rag next to you.
Isn't that what we were wanted? Wasn't that our emergency stop rag?
Yeah.
What is it?
You can edit that. Are you gonna try and move the machine, or just?
Well, first we got to run it for 10 minutes or whatever, get it up, make sure everything's breaking in properly, get up to RPM, make sure every cylinder's firing.
I still gotta fill the final drive, so we got...
Yeah. Probably gonna have to break each one of these individually. But you want me to run the glow plugs now, you think?
We gotta have a crow's. We got a crow's foot here.
I just need a wrench that's the right size is what I need.
Oh, it's a 3/4.
Okay.
The other ones were.
I might have to do this while he's cranking. Or it might... It'll probably fire on one or
You
two.
got fuel to there now. We'll blow that air up through there fast. You start cracking it.
To fire the glow plugs.
Okay.
We have no idea if these are doing anything.
Do you see anything on the camera?
It's calibrating. This kind of sucks. Looks like it might be doing something. I would say it's not doing anything.
We might try it now.
Okay, tried it. A hair dryer or something?
Huh?
A heat gun or a hair dryer?
Your wire might not be hooked up, you know.
Do we have
Glow plugs.
Do we have a heat gun
is
here?
purple.
Don't
I'm
you?
thinking, I don't know.
Glow plugs is purple. Just follow the wires, make sure it's
Also
plugged
have
in.
ether.
I hate this QZ thing.
Yeah, right.
Oh, where's your voltmeter? Let's just see if there's voltage to the. Well, check it. You got voltage here. That's where you care about it.
Which one you want?
Power's got to go to here, and then ground goes to any ground.
What's the field?
You got?
Nothing. Nothing.
Let's go back there. What do you got? Go back to the switch. Or head of the switch. So you can see I have the switch, right?
How do you know the purple's the glow plug?
The wire's purple over here, and it's hooked up to the glow plugs.
Yeah. It's this one.
Been doing anything? It don't
Well,
look like it.
Why don't we just take a wire from the battery, put it on this.
Yeah, I'm not getting voltage to this red wire.
Do you have another jumper cables?
We wanted to verify that the problem was the wire, not the glow plugs. So it's a switch. So you got go to the red should be power. You
Yeah,
should have
24
power there all
volts.
the time.
Okay, that red has power.
Want me to get those sparklers? You get me?
At this depth, so I can't tell you if it's doing anything.
It's probably doing something.
It's marked.
I did, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, it's drawing voltage.
Mississippi.
How long you want, or a couple?
30 seconds or so.
You bet about that.
I started. on.
Huh?
Which one do you think?
Just start with one.
Wait, did we turn the fuel back on?
I'm just gonna start again. Ready?
So that one was probably firing.
I saw there was plenty of, see how there's all these bubbles coming out still? We're fighting the bubbles. We did.
Think so?
Well, if we can get it firing on a couple cylinders again, then it'll actually, plus we won't be running the starter bleed.
Yeah. Let's see, go towards our nest. Got sparks that time.
Yeah, give it like 30 full seconds.
Got 10 more seconds. Alright, that's 30.
Here. There you go.
There's oil all over the ground.
Oh yeah. What do we got back here? Of course, I know.
It's dripping. Actively dripping. Huh?
Running.
Yeah.
Well, there's no drain plug down here.
Oh, for the clutch?
Yes.
What's a drain plug? What is it?
My thumb.
I mean,
I think it's on the other engine if you want to grab that one.
probably got enough room to get that skid out of it. There's a lot of stuff in this kit.
Swing it this. Let's roll the whole thing out.
What
The engine. Never did check the transmission.
Hey, didn't pull the dipstick on it.
Well, we didn't check if there's water in it or anything.
Oh. Yeah, you don't want that churned up.
Well, we can leave that hang there.
Is that right? Yeah. So it was just probably running when it was pumping?
I have no idea. I don't know how it didn't get up there, but, previously.
So we leaked some oil here, and it was coming out of the it was coming out of this thing on that other engine down there. There was no drain plug in it. So we took the drain plug out of this one and swapped it over. Oh, there's no longer daylight. We had to deal with the oil leaks, but we got that all sorted. Now we're going to try it again.
Here's some.
You can put that charger across one of these batteries. John,
Charge the batteries.
put the charger across one of these.
Yeah.
What is that? Hydraulic?
I think that's the filter. Is there a filter in it?
There,
I thought you were
Tight, it
replacing
was loose.
Yeah.
Okay, try it again.
So
Hands on deck again. Try it. Yeah.
Now what? I got more oil here. Is that?
That's
Are
the
we dumping
same.
more oil?
No. That's the oil.
The oil coming out of the hydraulic system that we just got in here.
There's nothing driven.
So just rolling across the floor.
Well, you want to get it running and then loosen each one of them off and tighten them and make sure. I think we're running at least 2 cylinders. Pretty nice spot. Ready?
Alright, well we ran the machine for a half hour. We kept varying the RPM it was running at once in a while. We're supposed to do that on break-in. Never supposed to run it too slow. At least that's first step of break-in. Next step of break-in is going to have to be actually putting it under load, but that's going to be next weekend's thing, most likely. So we got some hydraulic fluid in it. It's not enough yet, but it was enough that we could get the cylinders to start moving. It doesn't look like there's any hydraulic leaks. It doesn't look like it anyway. Maybe I spoke too soon. This might be. So this here was leaking before, but that was just because this cap wasn't tight. But none of the other fittings look like they're leaking. They all look fine, which is good. There is a leak here, but that's just I think this fitting might just not even be connected, I'm not sure. Or it's cross-threaded. It doesn't look straight. So that's probably got to be fixed. We're going to try to clean up this lake here. All right, so it runs. Next we gotta drive it, but that's gonna be for the next video. So hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.